The Rakshasa set is one of the best armor sets in the DLC and you don't want to miss it. Its 8% all damage bonus is a huge boost that works in almost any build or setup. Once you get the set, it comes with the Raksasa's Great Katana as well, and it is also one of the best Great Katana in the game. In this quick and easy step-by-step guide, I will be showing you how to get all of the Rakshasa items in the quickest time possible without fighting any unnecessary major and minor bosses aside from Rakshasa himself. I will be with you as soon as you start the DLC right until you get the set. If you want to play the Rakshasa build as soon as possible before playing the majority of the DLC, this video is for you. For us to get the Rakshasa items as fast as possible without fighting any major boss, we are required to access shortcuts that may bypass certain areas. I am now showing the general path that you will be taking during the entire journey or guide on the screen right now. However, by following this guide, you may miss some of the beginning parts of the NPC quests. If you care about the said quests, I suggest progressing normally in the game by completing and meeting all of the NPCs firsthand by clearing Belrat Tower first and Castle Ensis. However, if you don't care about NPC quests and want to have all of the Rakshasa items and use them in the entirety of the DLC, proceed to step 1. I will also be using a brand new playthrough with no Erdtree blessing so you will know how exactly the journey will look like. For step 1, if you just started the DLC, we will be starting from the very first Site of Grace, which is the Graveside Plain Site of Grace. In each step that we will be taking, I have prepared a map that you can easily follow through just in case you have unlocked the majority of the map. However, for those who freshly started the DLC, no worries, I will guide you through and just follow me on this. We will be traversing first the vast plains of Graveside. We will be skipping as many enemies as we can to speed up the process. While riding with Torrent, you will see that a furnace golem is roaming around in the area and just stay clear away from it and you will be fine. If it spots you, just avoid it as fast as you can by sprinting with Torrent. As mentioned, we will be skipping a lot of enemies in this guide since our Erdtree blessing is at 0, so enemies can damage you a lot if you get hit, so skipping them is the best course of action. You are also welcome to equip stat boosting talismans or a damage negation talisman such as the Dragon Crest Great Shield to mitigate the possible damage that you will be receiving through the journey. Now past the vast field of Graveside Plain, our next landmark is the Great Bridge of Elak. Just go straight ahead and follow the road here and the castle front Site of Grace is at the end of the road. While also you might want to pick up the Erdtree fragment located in this camp near Marika's statue. After reaching the castle front Site of Grace, rest on it and you are done with step 1. Accessing Shadowkeep would be our highest priority in the upcoming steps and we'll be accessing it from the Church District area in this guide. This is possible by skipping Castle Ensis first through a special shortcut. From the castle front Site of Grace, follow where I went here and we'll be accessing a series of downward slopes, and while following the said slopes, you will notice that the said path is allowing us to circle around Castle Ensis to skip it. Take your time while riding through the slopes as this can kill you if you fall way too high. Eventually, you will reach lower swamp area and you will be going through straightforward mountain paths and swampy areas. You will not get lost here on the other hand as you only have one pathway to follow. After following the straightforward path, you will notice an old shack and this is going to be your landmark. Notice as well that there's an inactive upstream and we need to activate this so we can ride it to progress. Activate it and make it work by destroying the pile of stones near your location. After destroying the stone, you can now ride upstream to access the upper area. You will doing this twice until you reach Fort Reprimand, which is our next stop. Finally reach Fort Reprimand, activate the nearest Site of Grace which is behind the Fort of Reprimand Grace. Just in case you die, you will have this checkpoint. Step 3 is heading to Mort Ruins. We can do so by skipping Fort Reprimand. From the Site of Grace, our goal is to get out of this place as quickly as we can, so follow through as I try to skip Fort Reprimand as fast as I can. Not for long, you will be getting out of this place and activating the nearest Site of Grace, which is the Mort Highway South, just outside of Fort Reprimand. Move forward by getting through the nearest cave, and once you get out, you will notice that Mesmer's troops which are battling a Ghost Flame Dragon, and we don't want to do anything with this fight, so try your best to head straight and skip the fight. You will not be lost here as you can just follow the road and you will be reaching Morth Ruins soon. After reaching Morth Ruins, activate Mort Ruins Site of Grace for us to have a checkpoint. Now for step 4 is skipping Bonnie Village. It is time to continue and do so by heading through the inner sections of Morth Ruins. And past the huge arching ruins, head to your left and you will eventually see an opening where you can safely go through to access the lower parts of the area. Take your time to reach the lower parts by traversing through the ruined buildings while on your way down. Eventually, you will see a cave that will lead you to a ladder that you need to climb through to reach Bonnie Village. After getting out from the well, activate the Bonnie Village side of Grace, and we'll be skipping the entire area by looking and traversing the nearest bridge for us to cross onto the other side. Just follow me here and not for long, you will be getting out of this village. After the 2 long wooden bridges, we are now exiting Bonnie Village and activate the bridge leading to the village side of Grace for us to have a checkpoint. Step 5 is reaching Shadowkeep Church District area. For the next step, our next goal is to reach Shadowkeep, and it is easy to do so as you will be following a straightforward road that will lead you into a dense forest. Follow the said road and you will notice that a great rune will be shattered. This event is an important one, and to avoid spoilers, I'm not going to the details, but what I will say is, and I also mentioned this in the start of this guide, this will affect all the NPCs in the DLC. But if you don't care about the NPC quest, just ignore this event and continue forward. While exiting the forest, you will now eventually find a furnace golem. Ignore this guy and follow the road. This road is quite long, and while you are on it, and if you are getting value out of this video so far, hitting that like button helps me a lot. Subscribe to the channel as well, and more quality guides like this are coming. So on your way, you will find another side of Grace, which is the Church District High Road side of Grace. Continue by following the road and eventually you will reach Shadowkeep's one of many entrances. Head through the long tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel, you will find the Church District entrance side of Grace. Rest on it to activate it, and we are already half of our journey, and eventually, we will be reaching our final destination, so stay with me now. You are doing a great job, so let's move forward. Step 6 is to access the hidden path to Recluse's River. So to continue, we will be traversing a small portion of the Shadowkeep to access a secret path to the next area that we need to be in. Move forward by carefully jumping onto the surrounding roofs to proceed. The entire area is flooded, so when you fall, you will die instantly, so be extra careful. Eventually, you will reach a roof where a fire knight is guarding. Ignore him and notice that there are nearby pillars that you can jump into. After traversing the pillar, you will notice a roof opening where you can get into to properly enter the Shadowkeep. Use the supporting pillar to access the solid ground beneath you and follow the hallway to progress. You will be encountering a lot of enemies in this area, and I can say that this is the hardest part of the journey. Skip all of them and follow the pathway until you reach an exit where it leads to a giant elevator. Ride the elevator and head to your left to find the storehouse back section side of Grace. Rest on it to activate it. Moving forward, in the nearest wooden railing, you can see that you can jump on the lower part of the area and activate another side of Grace, which is the storehouse first floor Grace. Continue by heading to the nearest huge elevator and ride it. After riding the elevator, you will notice another Fire Knight who is roaming around. Ignore the Fire Knight and proceed, and when the castle rampart splits into two, head to your left and follow the path until you see a ladder that you can use to climb down. In the drainage channel, you will notice that there's a hidden path behind it. Head through it and eventually you will find yourself on a dead end with a painting in it. Progress by revealing the hidden path and attacking it with your sword, and follow the straightforward tunnel. This tunnel will lead you into the stone coffin, which is going to be our main ride to access the next area where the Rakshasa items are located. After riding the coffin, you will find yourself officially in the Recluse's River area. Activate the nearest side of Grace, which is the Castle Watering Hole Grace. We are about to reach our final destination in this guide, and for step 7, we will be locating the Eastern Nameless Mausoleum. Move forward by heading to the Furnace Golem corpse, and of course, another Furnace Golem will appear. Ignore this guy and head straight following the river. Eventually, you will reach a waterfall and activate the Site of Grace again, which is the Recluse's River Upstream Grace. Make sure you are prepared since this is the last Site of Grace in this guide. Continue your journey by following a series of cliffs here, and it is kinda confusing at first, but just follow me here and you will be fine. You'll be juggling between cliffs to cliffs here to progress, but it's not that difficult. Notice that there are lower cliffs that you can jump through to access the lower parts of the area. Follow the nearest opening where the light is coming from, and eventually you will see the Eastern Nameless Mausoleum. It is going to be your final destination in this guide. Tap yourself on the back as it was a long journey. The second to the last step is of course defeating Rakshasa. Many players will find this the hardest step in this guide since we have little to no levels of Erdtree blessing, but it is doable. Rakshasa is not that hard, and the only thing that you need to pay attention to other than his normal attacks is his weed cutter skill, as he will be in hyper armor during this skill animation, so staggering him during this skill animation is not an option, and this might catch you off guard. After beating Rakshasa, the mighty Rakshasa set is yours. The last step in this guide is of course returning to Graveside Plain to properly start your DLC playthrough and equipping the said set. And there you have it, you can finally maximize the Rakshasa build while playing into the DLC, and in my opinion, it is highly worth doing if you don't care about NPC quests and if you just want to play one of the best samurai builds in the DLC. While on the other hand, to save you the hassle of knowing which is the best build for Rakshasa, this video will help you. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.